In my opinion, one of the great problems that we as human beings face is falling out of balance, and that would be emotionally, spiritually, or physically. Whatever minor or serious problems are before us, it is easier to deal with them if we have balance in our lives. Likewise, small problems grow large, and large problems become impossible if we are unable to ground ourselves or our emotions. I believe that whatever we are doing, we do it better if we are in balance. So, what is balance? In a nutshell, balance is when we remain in control of ourselves and our emotions. It's when we are in harmony with ourselves and the things around us. It is when we have that inner feeling of peace. We are in balance when we control ourselves and do not allow outside influences to create upset in us. Philosophers have written of the great equilibrium, the great balance between divine power and divine wisdom, between divine truth and law, between justice and mercy. It is this balance that is needed by all humanity, no matter the religion or belief system. In my experience, all of Masonry is a balance between what we should do and what we can do. Many times we believe that the balance is between right and wrong, but I believe that sometimes this is too easy. The greater challenge could be to sometimes know when we must give up on something and move towards accomplishing something more attainable. Forever fighting for the unreachable is as out of balance as not knowing right from wrong. Early in my Masonic career, I was fascinated by the philosophy of Freemasonry. Then I reached a point when I became interested in Masonic history. It seems that I went through a phase where I felt that one could either pursue Masonic philosophy or Masonic history, but not both at the same time. This was a period when I was out of balance with myself and Freemasonry. It was only when I realized that the two merged into one that I felt that special, comfortable feeling of knowing that I was on the right path. The balance necessary for us as Freemasons comes from studying our early history, our ritual, the symbolism, and the unique procedures of lodge operation. The Mason in balance with Masonry understands all of these aspects and recognizes in his heart, if he is true with himself, that he will always be the entered apprentice, learning and growing. It may be enough for some to have titles, degrees, and powerful offices, but is that really enough for us? Are these sorts of things what makes us truly happy and satisfied? Does power, glory, and titles truly make someone happy? Does the more we get make us want even more? Being in balance might mean to focus on ourselves and our own advancement, not concerning ourselves with what others are or are not doing. If we truly desire power, we might want to ask ourselves why. We might want to step outside of ourselves and ask why we have this desire. Is it to help others or ourselves? Sometimes taking a very good look at ourselves provides needed insight. Some years back, I edited a book titled Masonic Enlightenment. In that book, C.C. Hunt provides us with a paper titled The 47th Problem of Euclid. In this paper, Brother Hunt gives us a more symbolic understanding of this mathematical equation than is normally published. The great Pythagoras, it seems, was not the first one to realize the significance of this problem. The ancient Egyptians clearly understood this theory and made use of the triangle in many of their ancient structures. But the symbolism of the 47th problem of Euclid is deeper than basic mathematics. The triad can be seen as the three principal offices of a lodge. We can also discover a way to use this equation to find balance. In his paper, Brother Hunt tells us, algebra is the application of symbols to mathematics, and Masonry is the application of symbolism in character building. In this, we find both the path and the goal. We find the balance within the teachings of Freemasonry. The symbolic teachings of Freemasonry do provide us with the path for finding balance. The reason we would want to have this balance is so that we might have a better and more meaningful existence on earth. That is the goal. We seek to be better than we are today, and through Masonry, we can find the means, if we try, to achieve our goals. In some of the papers I've written, I've tried to take us back to the early days of Masonry, and as best as possible, look at the old operative Masons. But I've also tried to go much further back than that and look at some of the philosophy that was used by ancient civilizations and compare those ancient philosophies to those of Freemasonry. The goal was to try, as best as possible, to explore how things were done in much earlier and different times. I find value in studying how Freemasonry operated in times of war, in dealing with those who opposed us, and how we viewed ourselves and set ourselves up into organizations. In looking at history, at least my take on it, it seems that the most difficult times for Freemasonry were those times when we appear to be out of balance. Freemasonry was never meant to be only a social club or a place to feed the egos of those who only desire rank, power, and authority. Freemasonry was always designed to be a place where through a specific method of teaching, we could improve ourselves. Our ancient operative brothers did hard physical work. They used the time when they were not working to improve their minds and their manner of interacting with others. They did this with the goal of being better. Speculative Freemasonry took on the task of continuing the goal of making good men better. It was and is a sound blueprint for living. When you take the symbolic teachings of Freemasonry and begin an examination of them one by one, you find a profound educational system, a school. It is an education that is not found anywhere in the reading of the lodge minutes or memorizing words with no effort to understand the meaning behind them. It is found by a systematic, regular, and serious study of each aspect of our degrees. There are thoughts advanced by some that Masonry has run its course, or that the young men coming into Masonry are not truly interested in what we offer. But what do we offer? Is it that the new Masons are not interested in Freemasonry, or not interested in the sometimes out-of-balance representation that we can give of Freemasonry? It is clear that we are in the middle of a time of great change. It is a change that is not only in the world, but in Freemasonry itself. We are in the middle of a time that will require all of us to redefine not only ourselves, but what we want and what we are willing to do to achieve what we want. I do not at all believe that Freemasonry as an organization or philosophy is coming to an end. I believe just the opposite. What we have to offer, hidden away in dark, dusty areas on shelves, almost lost, is exactly what is desired by more than a few. Our time of true purpose is near. I see one of the great problems of evaluating worth is the confusion between quality and quantity. Far too often, we settle for mediocrity rather than make the effort to attain what is of real value. In too many cases, I see it believed that bigger must be better. I see it believed that we must not rock the boat. We must not try to change what has been around since before we joined. We are out of balance and fearful. A few years back, I drew criticism from some because I saw a photograph of a Masonic lodge in an obviously very poor corner of the West Indies. The altar was simply a plain wooden table with a Bible on it. At each of the officers' stations was an old folding chair. About a dozen more beat-up folding chairs were around the sidelines. It was a sparse and plain lodge. The Masons milling around were obviously very poor, and yet from their expressions, proud of their lodge. I drew criticism because I said that I would rather be in such a lodge where real Masonry existed than in the most beautifully designed Masonic cathedral where none there knew the true meaning of Freemasonry. I do not believe that a lodge must be poor in order to understand Freemasonry. But I also do not believe that a large, thriving, wealthy lodge is a guarantee of understanding the heart of Freemasonry. Simply being successful guarantees nothing. There is a balance that we must achieve that has nothing to do with numbers or success. It has to do with quality. It has to do with comprehending what we teach. The moral philosophy of Freemasonry was not created by us. but it has been around, for all we know, since the beginning of mankind. While we still have war, hatred, and all the lesser qualities of humanity, we still hope to be better. We still have the way to become better. There is hope. I believe that this is why Freemasonry will not fade away, and even if it did, its teachings would come back with another name. An interesting symbol of balance is the pendulum. Pull it too far in one direction, and it becomes out of balance. Release it, and it does not automatically come back into balance, but goes out of balance in the other direction. Time is necessary for it to return to balance. But is that completely true? Is the pendulum the best symbol for balance? There is a thought that time and space exist only by our limited understanding of eternity. Maybe if we stop and wait to achieve balance, then we may see that we have achieved balance the moment that we stopped. Of course, this is only a thought. My parting hope is that if anything that I have ever written has given just one of you cause to stop and think about Masonry in a little different manner, or has given you cause to dig a little deeper into any of these subjects, then I consider my work accomplished. I believe in planting seeds with the full knowledge that most of the seeds will not take. I'm good with that. Only one seed is necessary to grow into a beautiful and powerful oak tree. Peace be with you. If you are serious about Masonic education, have a look at the Cornerstone Book Publishers website. You'll find there some of the finest classic and current Masonic education books in print. Don't wait. Start on the right path today. Cornerstone Book Publishers.